Welcome to OC Life Podcast 8, where we turn your life into a message. OC Life Podcast is sponsored by our platinum sponsor CEO here and my co-host, Jarvis Elder, as well as Unique.shapwear. If you want to get your shapewear, men and women, please go to Unique.shapwear right off of Fort Hood Street, and AAUCS Cleaning Services. We also have a special announcement, possibly a new sponsorship. We have our special guest here, Jamari Peagler. He is the CEO of Divine Ingredients. You see him rocking his gear. Again, OC Life Podcast 8 coming right at you. Welcome to OC Life Podcast 8. Once again, where we turn your life into a message. OC Life Podcast, again, is sponsored by our platinum sponsor, my co-host. I'm so excited. So excited. You guys finally defeated the Vipers.
Yes, sir.
And I heard you ran that kick return back,
Yes, sir.
punt return back. Even though they called it back, it's still a great thing. And I'll tell you guys right now, what the biggest part about our podcast, we always want to start with Jarvis. This is his last ride, possibly, depending on what happens in the future. Jarvis is a slot receiver, punt returner, specialty back, the whole 9 yards. But I think he's got some competition here with our special guest here, who is an all-around purpose back himself, Jamari Peagler. Our OC Life Podcast, we're going to be talking about some various topics, but we have our special guest, Jamari Peagler. How are you?
Doing all right.
CEO of Divine Ingredients. We have some history. We'll get into that a little bit too as well. You guys were teammates once before, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Man, so here we go. Do you all see how the podcast, how it just brings people back? You know, we had Breon and we had CT. And those guys are out handling some business right now, but they'll be back at you next week. But anyway, we want to always start off our podcast giving our special thanks to God. And we want to offer our opening prayer with our special guest here, Jamari Peagler. So if y'all don't mind, we want to give our thanks to God first. Then we'll get into Jarvis's Corner right after that.
Yes, sir.
Let's pray.
Father God, we just thank you for today. We thank you for the ability to come together and fellowship, share the fruits of these words that's flowing through our temple. You know, we just thank you. We thank you for the ability to have family, the ability to be able to just continue to provide for ourselves, provide for the future, just continue to set up a great infrastructure for the future and the children. In your name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Great. Well, listen, I need to throw a monkey wrench in here. So before we get to Jarvis's Corner, right, I really want to welcome you, Mari, as our special guest on OC Life, which is Podcast 8. You're one of the first ones I reached out to, told you to like and subscribe to our podcast. But this cannot be done without the man in front of the camera and behind the camera. Jarvis does a lot of the background work, which he doesn't like to be recognized for, but he's going to be recognized on this podcast as well. It's something when God does work within all of us men. And I just want to say thank you to both of you all for being here. We want to get into Jarvis's Corner. Of course, you know, Jarvis always sends out inspirational messages every morning. I do my best to try to beat him up in the morning, but I'm retired, so I kind of sleep in a little bit. But we'll get into Jarvis. Here you go. The floor is yours.
Today's motivation is pressure. So I think we all have a natural gifts. We all have natural passion. But I think once we go outside in the world, we get pressured and we get influenced by others. And I think if you're at peace with yourself and you're at war with the world, or you either be at war with the world and peace with yourself. So I feel like if you just find peace when you go out there, just be yourself and don't follow the influence of others. Always just follow your passion, follow who you are, follow your truth. And I think that's the word for today. God bless, and thank you for staying tuned.
Great. All right, that is Jarvis's Corner. Again, sponsored by himself. So, hey, I tell you what, BNB-SUITES is the #1 B&B, Airbnb in Central Texas. Go on Booking.com, go on Instagram, Facebook, as well as we do Turo. We rent out 2012 Mercedes-Benz SLK drop top. Please see him. He is the man with the plan, and definitely. So, Mari, we want to get into a lot of things with you, but we always want to start off with a recap of the Central Texas Tigers faced the Austin Vipers last week, and they won by a skinny 6 points, 20-14. I was sitting on the edge of my seat all night. I couldn't get the game because I was between the Wolfpack game and the Bisons. Well, we want to talk about the Wolfpack. You have the 2021, 21, right? Or 20?
21.
2021 Super Bowl champion, Jamari Peagler, who used to play for the Wolfpack last year, all-purpose back. Your former team was defeated by the Capital City Bisons. Yes, the Bisons. The Bisons finally are relevant in Texas. So I'll tell you this right now. The BSFL is shaking up, fellas. And I know last year you guys were in the TUFA, right?
Yes, sir.
And then now, Jarvis, how do you guys go from being teammates to colliding together last year? You know, they beat us 3 times.
Yes, sir.
And can I ask you a question? Were you guys kind of a little scared to kind of play the Vipers knowing we were on the other side of the sideline? And I mean, what was the attitude?
I mean, one thing I will say, they just kept the same message, you know, one game at a time. You know, now me personally, me and we got history,
Right?
You know? So I kind of separated myself from that and made sure I gave you a call afterwards, and you know, and different things of that nature. But really, it was a great rivalry. I will say it shook up each week. It would be shaking up every time we get ready to face you guys.
Yeah.
We knew we had to come correct.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I talked to you last night on the phone, and Jarvis as well. We always do our recap. But why didn't they give you the 6 points on the punt return? What happened? And what was the Vipers' reaction, your former team, when you ran it back and took it to the house?
It was like a pin drop in the stadium. It kind of, you know, looking at it, you know what I'm saying, it was pretty cool, you know, to return and, you know what I'm saying, try to change the momentum of the game and everything. But, you know, a touchdown is not defined by a win of the game. You know what I'm saying? You can't look at a touchdown and think you're going to win the game. You got to look at, it's 4 quarters, so you got to play for 4 quarters. So once they called it back, we got the ball back again. They kicked it again, and then we drove the ball downfield and we scored again, and then that's how we won the game.
So now that you guys have gotten a must-win game,
yes, sir.
And the Wolfpack lost, and the Bisons won. The Bisons and the Wolfpack are pretty much neck and neck to be conference division champions. How does that resonate with you, knowing that your former team went down to an opponent you guys blew out last year by far? Is there a difference between this year's Wolfpack team and last year's team?
I think that, you know, each year is going to be different. I see a few differences, but one thing I will say about the ownership over there, they're not afraid to continue and move on with new guys, you know, and establish new chemistry. So I see they're still trying to get a couple of things, you know, ironed out over there. But really, we just got to give the credit to the Bison, you know. Coach Brown, he's been building something for the last few years.
Yes.
It's just time for them to get their recognition, you know.
Well, Coach Brown, sorry about that. Coach Brown on the Oceanside podcast, we want to congratulate you on a special victory. I know I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, they only lost by 1 point.
Yeah.
And you guys definitely deserve the recognition. You're going to make the BSFL interesting. So, Mari, we have some history. I was your offensive coordinator, as well as I was his offensive coordinator. And then I was also the head coach of the Cedar Park, Texas Punishers, where we played against the Rangers, right?
Yes, sir.
So, pretty much, what led you to play minor professional football? Well, let's back up. You're from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Roll Tide Roll, right?
Yes,
Roll
sir.
Tide Roll.
Okay, but let's just get that out there. But at the end of the day, you truly and dearly have a passion for football.
Yes, sir.
You have a passion for family, and you just have a passion for education, and you're just a very fine young man. Both of you two are very similar, by the way. Y'all have a lot of similarities. But how did you get involved in the game of football, and how did that all start? To now you started playing football, and then that's how we all met, and then now you're a CEO of a company. You're actively enrolled in college. How does that all work?
Well, I mean, I think that it's been a process. I mean, me and Jarvis actually spoke a little bit on the way here. It's it even feels a little funny you saying all of that, in a sense, because at once upon a time that wasn't the case. I struggled early on in school as a young man. I always had a passion for football, but my family, they were hard workers. And so certain things were missed. So I would say that it took time for me to get to the point to where I'm at now, because early on I just was making mistake after mistake after mistake. Wasn't being able to be eligible to play, but I saw coaches see my potential, and they would give me opportunity to still come out, even though I wasn't eligible, still be able to come out and practice. So I knew I had something there. I just had to put it all together, and it wasn't until I moved to Texas. Believe it or not, I didn't get a chance to play high school football. I played middle school football for a little time until I got in trouble, and it caused me not to be eligible. And like I say, the grades were a big thing for me. So all those early years, I struggled to get on the field, to even be able to be on a team. Not because of my talents, but because of me applying myself the proper way. And so fast forward to getting up here, I had a young lady I met back home, and Miss Jefferson, and she was getting ready to go to the military, and she kind of challenged me. She challenged me as a young man and said, "Hey, you said you wanted to play football. You said you wanted to do this. So I'm getting ready to leave. Hey, you've been getting into trouble here." I had that kind of want to stay out the way attitude at that point in time. I was just working. Got in a little bit of trouble with the law. So, I think it was a thing about with time. When you make mistakes, you think that, like I was telling you, Jarvis, earlier, that you make these mistakes early on, and you think you lost time. You think you kind of play these tricks on your mind. You put these mental blocks up for yourself. So it took a while for me to get to that point, and once I moved here to Texas, her being stationed here, I was able to meet guys like you, be on the team like the Rangers and stuff like that. And it's just been an ongoing process, and I kind of self-taught. I learned myself along the way, self-taught, and just kind of understood what things are, how it should be, different coaches, different situations, school, I kind of learned the game of football on my own, So I just think that as of now, where I'm at now, that it's just been a divine plan the whole time,
So Jarvis, you guys are teammates, right?
Yes, sir.
And everybody knows Jarvis is very reserved and quiet, but I'm gonna get him to talk. You guys were teammates at one time. What type of relationship did you guys have as teammates?
We built a good relationship. I mean, he was a quiet guy, just like I was a quiet guy. And then, he was just trying to find his way on the team, just like I was trying to find my way on the team at the time. And I got so much respect for him. I feel like he's a great guy. He brought a lot of energy. He had a lot of heart, a lot of passion for the game. And he runs hard, he runs physical, and he's a great dude to me.
Well, I do have a confession. So in 2018, I was on my way back from Korea. And 2017, the Texas Extreme, we won the 2-for championship. And then we went down and won the Natty down in Daytona Beach in Florida. And at that time, I was overseas. I was stationed overseas for my last tour in Korea. And Coach Ron, which is a mentor of mine, he pretty much said, "Hey, we want you to come back, be the offensive coordinator, so he can focus on head coaching duties." And I'm about 7,000 miles away from Texas. And I called you. And I started calling players, because I knew the type of offensive system that I had. I knew it was literally going to take you a long time to process everything that I threw at you guys. And from the first time that we talked on the phone, there's a 14-hour time difference. And that's kind of what built our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to how you and I did when you came from a distance, you drove all the way from Odessa. Both of y'all had a lot of passion for it. So when you got that phone call from me, knowing that you never met me physically, and I'm pretty sure you probably heard everything under the sun about me prior to, how did that make you feel? And then what was your view of me as a coach coming in on offensively? Like, what are some of the things you kind of heard and you need to depict to focus, knowing that you were in one system, now you're going to go to another system?
Mm-hmm. Well, initially when you first called me, that very first call, you stood out from the jump because, like I say, I have been learning how things go and what way I needed to go about doing, getting to some of these dreams. I had been looking for a coach to kind of come with that amount of accountability, that just it's bigger than football attitude. I had been looking for that, and I met a few guys, a few coaches along the way that was, like Coach Clark and good guys. But for you to be, like you say, overseas, give me a call. I'm at work, and just from the jump, it's like, okay, yeah, he's serious about what he's doing. It fit right into the military attitude. Like I say, we was a military family, so from the jump, we just jailed from the jump. I knew that, okay, yeah, this is going to be something good. I can look forward to having a good season with him.
Well, and Jarvis, kind of going in, I think one of the things I think on our podcast, what we try to do is we try to turn, our guests and our life into a message, right?
Yes, sir.
What would you say is a part of your life where you that, hey, that you're changed now, like you're changed, that football has changed you and shaped you? What part of that, whether it's coaching, playing, whatever, what part has changed you?
For football or just in life general?
Football, life in general.
I think the thing that changed me the most is, like I said, for me, it's like my father. Now, you know what I'm saying? Meeting him at 21 years old was the biggest change for me. It's like, just the questions of why he has been in my life, as a good person I am, the person I am as a man, the way I stand out is like, it's like, what did I do for you not to be in my life, and that's for not just for me, but for all children in life, so I feel like every parent should have that relationship with their kids regardless, and that's for me.
So Mari, Jarvis talks about his father, and we're going to really open up, and we want to turn your life into a message, right? So you were born in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You have beautiful children.
Thanks, sir.
And you really do. And if you just want to just give us the background of, your children, your life, your background, and just kind of let our viewers know who you are, what you stand for as a father, as a CEO, as a student, enrolled in the HBCU.
Yes, sir.
I call it the Deion Sanders effect.
Most definitely.
I think Deion Sanders has really changed the game.
Yes.
A big name like that. And Jarvis, you can sneak in some questions anytime you feel. So just kind of let our viewers know who you are in the background of your life.
Like I say, Tuscaloosa, Alabama native. Made some mistakes early on. Far from perfect. But I just feel along the way I've gained a tremendous amount of wisdom because I've had kind of a chip on my shoulder from the things I shared a little bit earlier. And I think it's enabled me to be able to see things clearly, see things better, have a sense of clarity, and understanding my assignment on this realm, really, into this physical reality. Honestly, like, I feel as if I'm actually here to change a standard, kind of break generational curses. Not even kind of, definitely.
That's his favorite word, general curse.
Yes, sir. You got to break those things, changing the standard, changing the narrative, and at the same time honor my parents of what they were able to do, but still being able to change the standard and move it forward without offending anyone, you know, but doing it do it out of love, you know, and I think that's the biggest thing where I'm at right now, you know.
How old when you became a father?
I was 19. Hadn't even left Tuscaloosa yet. So I had a crossroad similar to that first motivational video you sent me, voiceover, and I was at a crossroad at that point, and I had to make a decision because, like I say, I was I had to unlearn a couple things. I still had what the generational curses, the past things from generation to generation stuck in my head as far as what I should do and how I should make my decisions. Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing was, you know, I was hit with the abandonment early on of saying that, you know, if you leave, you're giving up on your daughter, you're giving up on everything you got here, you're giving up on your family.
Now, was that instilled in you as a kid, or was that something that you kind of thought about in your own head? Where did that abandonment come from?
I think there's a little bit of it stemmed from childhood. And, you know, like I said, you carry these mental blocks with you. And as I got older in adulthood and gained a relationship with my father, in my teenage years, after I had kind of made those mistakes and we got a little bit closer, always had a good relationship with my stepdad as well. So I was trying to find that balance all those years of just trying to find my way pretty much. But yeah, I think it stemmed from childhood, but as time went on, you end up putting a lot of that stuff. Like once you're a young adult and you can make those decisions, you kind of have to leave that other stuff back. You can use it for notes, you know, as far as what didn't happen as a child and what you want to do to raise the bar and change the standard. But at the end of the day, you know, I think those are self-inflicted wounds.
Let me ask you a question, okay? I always ask this question. I ask Coach Yunise the same question. We all have a time clock on this earth. We all do. Mm-hmm. What would you leave behind for your children? If you die today, what would you leave behind? How would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as an infrastructure builder. You know, someone that that just left not only resources behind, just core values behind. You know, an overall way of living that's going to actually that's going to really stick. You know. Not something just for the time being, but just something that can go from generation to generation. You know, I'm driven to do that. You know.
Gotcha.
So, for all you viewers out there that don't know, you are currently enrolled in Texas College in Tyler, Texas.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And based on the pandemic, you do online courses. Maybe sometimes you go to the facility, but you're also a walk-on, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
So, Baker Mayfield, everybody knows who Baker Mayfield is. He walked on to Texas Tech. He had to walk on to Oklahoma. And he had to prove himself. And with all your challenges that you kind of spoke about in your life, how did you get to Texas College? I mean, I know you said that your significant other at the time was enlisting into the military and was like, hey, don't miss this train. But how did you get to an HBCU?
It was another one of those self-teaching things. You know, I had to educate myself about, you know, because like you say, Roll Tide. It's been Roll Tide since I was young. Mm-hmm. And that's what was always in our face, you know. That's what's on the mainstream. And like you say, to speak of the Deion Sanders effect, he inspired me when I first see him go to Jackson State. It made me take a look. I had already knew I went to a few Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Magic City Classics. You know, I'm native from Tuscaloosa, so I seen it. But like I say, it wasn't right in front of us.
Yeah.
To hold on to know that is our culture. We should be trying to go out and play for each other, which they do have some downfalls as far as being smaller institutions, private institutions. So they don't get the same funding as everybody else, you know. But Miles College was my first
I remember that.
Was the first thing that I was at home and I was spending some time with my parents. I realized I kind of connected the dots. I was going through a hard time and I realized, it's 12 miles away from Miles College. You don't stay that far, mother, you know what I'm saying? I might come down here. And I had this big thing about family, and I've always been trying to bring my family together. And it just was like a perfect marriage, and I got inspired off of that. So initially I wanted to go to Miles College, but I found myself continue to learn, continue to see, okay, where are all the HBCUs at?
And Miles College is an HBCU?
In Fairfield, Alabama.
Okay, Fairfield, okay.
About 12 miles away from Calla, Alabama. So it was convenient in close proximity to my mother's house,
got it.
you know? And that was just the first thing I needed. They was on a winning streak. They had won a couple of championships in the SIAC.
Okay.
And that's really what sprung me to continue to learn the HBCU world, the HBCU community, and understanding where they are, we're at, and where I can find myself at, who needed help, what teams were struggling, And next thing I know, pandemic hit, and I had a Liz Frank injury similar to what Cam Newton went through. Shout out to Cam, because I watched a lot of his rehab stuff to get myself back up. But during the pandemic, man, I was injured and I had to find another way. I had to find another rhythm of purpose at that point in time, because I was injured.
You say purpose. During them moments, you know what I'm saying, what adversity did you go through to get back? Because, we all love that passion for the game. We all have that passion. I know you wanted to probably like, man, why get hurt? Or, man, I want to get back on the field. What adversity did you face to get through them challenges?
Man, it's pretty much the title of what today's thing was, mental health and the pandemic. I feel as if in that point in time in 2020, my pandemic started a little earlier, with the Liz Frank injury and not being able to walk. And I had just got on, that was 2020, I had just got on the team with the Wolfpack, established myself as the second back, the rotational back. Me and Eddie Beatty, rest in peace, my brother. We had a good relationship, and I had got to a point where I was comfortable with the team. I was hot. I was feeling good, and then right before halftime at one of those preseason games, I had a freak accident and it just broke me down, and it just really pretty much affected my mental health right out the gate. Like, just to finish that game, I knew I needed to go to the hospital, but honestly, I sat there and I watched the remainder of the game. Because in that moment, I felt as if I was no longer valuable, So
why did you feel that you were not valuable? Because like Jarvis mentioned, he mentioned about adversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was something that God put into your life. I think adversity hits us all, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why did you feel like you wasn't valuable anymore?
Because it happened so fast. Like, first quarter, I'm the rotational guy. Halftime, I'm just sitting watching the show,
Would you say that was God's way to refocus you on what you're doing right now? Because I mean, I'm looking at this letter you sent me, and I'm gonna read it to the viewers. It says, "Congratulations, we are pleased to inform you you have earned an academic honors for semester 2021-2022. Because of your outstanding academic performance, we at Texas College are proud of you." I personally don't think that the timing would be right if you didn't go through some of those challenges and some of that adversity that we all talk about, right? And I always say that for an African American male, everybody says, I want to go to the NBA, I want to go to the NFL, but nobody has an exit plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I was that kid that said, hey, I want to go to the NFL. That's all we knew.
Yep.
I want to make a lot of money taking care of my family. Right? We all want to break the generation curse. We all want to do that. But to hear you say that you lost value, I think you added value by Texas College accepting you when they did, and now you're on an academic honor roll.
Yes, sir.
For
Yes,
that.
sir.
So Miles College didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Although the pandemic happened. And we talked about this on our podcast 2 or 3. We talked about mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to dig into that about mental health. But you mentioned college.
Yeah.
You mentioned being a walk-on, you mentioned the challenges, right? How much did your kids have an impact on you going to college and being successful?
They had a tremendous, impact on it. Because like I say, I've always had this at heart of wanting to leave a legacy. My great-grandfather, actually my great-great-grandfather, Arthur Thomas, he instilled in me early on, just being able to spend time with the elder of that age. Usually you don't get a chance to do that, and I did. And I think a lot of that stuff rubbed off on me, even though I was young. So I always had a drive for it. And like I say, in that moment in time, I did feel as if my value was gone when I hurt myself, when I got injured. But like you say, that was the crossroad. That was the moment in time that I had to be shaken. And pretty much just find a new rhythm of purpose in that time, because football wasn't gone forever. But at that moment in time, I felt it was, and I needed to grow. And I think that's what, like you say, sprung me to creating Divine Ingredients, and putting some focus on some other things while I was rehabbing. And I feel blessed of it. I wouldn't take anything back.
So we all struggle with mental health. I struggle with PTSD. I struggle with depression. I struggle with suicide. I struggle with drinking back in the day. I was in and out of relationships, marriages. I was divorced 3 times. I have 9 children. I love them all, but I was just very reckless, when I was younger. And although my dad was in my life, I'm not blaming him by far, but I just didn't have that hammer.
Yeah.
My dad told me the right things, but when I left his sight, I did what I wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
And, Jarvis, you always say all the time, you want to know why, your dad would leave someone like that, and not come to you knowing how you turned out. But Mari, you have your kids, and you're doing your dual parenting role, and you're studying, and you're doing this, right? Is there a point in time where you look back in your life and say, man, I wish my dad can see me right now? Like, what goes through your head, when it comes to your father being active or not active in your life?
It really goes back to, changing the standard, because it's certain things that me and my father, we can speak on, and my stepfather. And it's certain things that we have a hard time speaking on, because I feel as now it's my destiny to change these things. So it's not always going to be cookie cutter, but as long as we can, I can continue to establish the relationship out of love the best way, I think we'll be fine. I think it'll be great, and because I tell them all the time that even when I have to kind of peel that skin back here and there, about how I feel and what needs to be done or what could have been done or whatever, I have to remind them that this is because I need these. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes to be able to provide my children with a better experience, but still at the same time understanding that how your experience went, and I'm trying to find that balance, with my father and my mother and other elders in the family, just not the father per se, but just all the elders,
So Jarvis, hearing Mari's story, does it kind of seem like y'all have a similar background in terms of, father figure, breaking generational curses, which y'all use that term very often? What advice do you have for Mari in terms of his life to go continue to build his brand, which is he's the CEO of Divine Ingredients, which this is the 3rd guest that we've had. That's not including Jarvis. That's African American, young, and are CEOs of their companies that had run-ins with the law. So all you youngins out there, or even adults out there that are watching, these guys, Mari is turning his life into a message for you all, so that you can have a run-ins with the law, but you can still be a business owner.
Yes, sir.
You can still have a vision and a dream. What advice do you have for Mari right now, based off what you heard thus far?
I would say, man, just keep going, man. Like you said, like you feel like you lost value, but at the end of the day, you got to redirect it.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? And God put you on the path you may have wanted, but God said, "No, I want you over here." And then He put you in college, and now you know what I'm saying, you got honor roll academics, and it's like you never lose value, man. You gain value, and then you can pass that value on to somebody else. And so this is your story to tell somebody else now. Like you can pass that on to somebody that felt like giving up, but you at the end of the day, you didn't give up. You kept going. You walked on in one school, and he's like, okay, it ain't working here. So you walked on to another school, and then you was like, okay, this might not work for me. This might, but at the end of the day, you walked into a school and you kept going. You was like, man, my football's my passion. Football's my dream. Like you said, Alabama, that's a winning. That's all they care about is winning. You want to be on with a winning program. You want to win. So at the end of the day, man, you just continue to go and continue to keep going strong and continue to do great things, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
So you're an active father, right? Jarvis hits everybody, and I always get. Jarvis has the weirdest questions. He asks me at the weirdest times. He says, "Who am I?
Yeah.
How do you want to be remembered?" Right? If you look into that camera right now, what would you tell all your kids right now? If they see this video 10, 15, 20 years from now, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to change the standard. You know, even the standard that I set forth to change it, because I'm not going to be perfect. You know, far from it, and so it's going to be some things that I miss, and the foundation that I lay out for this infrastructure, I expect you guys to just take it farther. You know, be innovative. You know, whether it's taking divine ingredients on to the nation or coming up with your own strategies and different ways of living. I'm going to support it either way. You know, that's what I'll say.
So you talk about divine ingredients. You know, we talked about mental health, and I called you yesterday and we talked, and I think you've seen one of our podcasts on mental health, and I'm very open about my story, and you shared yours, but you know, the mental health this podcast can go into 4 or 5 different parts, because I think more and more in life, we all are facing mental health challenges, whether it's relationships, whether it's finances, whether it's education, whether it's a job, a career move, right? 2019, leading into 2020, our life changed. We got hit with something that we couldn't control, and that was the coronavirus. Our main reason for wanting to bring you on is you have a unique story about mental health. And I know we don't have a whole lot of time to dig into it because we want to split these up into different parts. And we actually want to focus a whole week on mental health, right? When I say the word coronavirus, pandemic, how does that relate to your life?
My view on it is a little different than most. When I hear that, I hear a fear-based. It's fear-based. You know, I would say it's. I feel like it's something that's been put in place to affect mental health. Just plain out like that. You know, I think it's you know, a scripture that my grandmother would tell me. You know, God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but the power of the love and a sound mind. And I think that has been. I think that's what has been put in our place to kind of to throw us off. You know, get us off our square. So, I try not to give any energy to it because I saw that the world gave it energy.
Every day.
Every day.
This is and we talked about this. Regardless of your vaccination status, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jarvis and I have long conversations about, okay, it's this variant. Okay, now it's this variant. Now it's this variant. Now it's this. And it's like, now you're getting all these checks and all this money and, you know, it's like everything. And it's like, but all this money's coming, but the world, the government, everybody knows you can't spend it because you can't go anywhere. So it's like, I know it messed with my mind. I didn't want to go outside. Was Divine Ingredients born during the pandemic?
Born during the pandemic. I mean, it was like right behind each other. I mean, we get injured. Like you say, I went through this mental block of I'm not valuable anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get to this space of say, okay, let's find a rhythm of purpose. Because it's something out here that you're not paying attention to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I say, my pandemic started a little earlier. I think that's what kind of gave me a little advantage, I'd say. That I was already in this mental block of just, okay, I'm injured. I gotta be, I got some crutches and, I can't go to work. I work in a mental hospital. We have to take certain patients down if they get out of line, and I wasn't able to do any of that. So I had to find another space, and it was almost as if, like you said, that moment in time, the Most High was just saying, hey, no, you're gonna go where I want you to go.
You ever heard that phrase in the Bible says, God doesn't do things to you, he does it for you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of resonates through. You had a unique perspective on the pandemic. Can you share with our viewers and even Mari, if anybody may have missed it, what your unique view was on the pandemic?
There's a few things for me. I think mental health is life. You know what I'm saying? Like, our body is our business. If you don't take care of your body, your business don't run. So, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, with your mental, with everything you think of, or your health, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're in shape, making sure you're taking care of your body. Because if you're not healthy, then your business don't run. You know what I'm saying? As humans. And I feel like the pandemic, I think it opened a lot of people's eyes. I feel like I said, America's lazy, man. We're a lazy country, man. We are. We're very lazy. We want everything given to us. We want, hey, okay, they're giving us a stimulus check. Let me take it. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. So I don't have to work no more. I don't have to do the things that I'm supposed to be doing now to take care of my family. I'm just gonna let America take care of me.
So, Divine Ingredients was formed, right? I see you rocking your gear.
Yes, sir.
Right? And your kids are involved in your business.
Yes, sir.
How do the viewers find you if they want some Divine Ingredients gear? Heck, how do we even get some gear?
Hey, I got something for you guys, actually.
All right,
So,
let's see what he's got.
I come with gifts, Jarvis. This is
Thank
here
you.
for you, man. This is one of our
Hoodies.
hoodies.
Hey, look them up. Go get it.
Hoodies. You can find us at divineingredients.com. I'll make sure I have that, those links in the bio for you guys. Have an Instagram, Facebook, have a website, so I got something for your wife as well in there. We're gonna, that beanie, that's a top hat, so she can wear it just like this one. You can wear it in the summer, you can wear it in, so it's all purpose.
Well, I don't know about that nice hair she's got, but
Yeah.
women. So, where can our viewers find you on Instagram or Facebook? Where can they get some gear? Where can they find you at?
Divineingredients.com. And like I said, I'll make sure that we're going to get that in the description for you. And also on Instagram, you can follow me on my page, DI_9ether_CEO.
Well, he'll put it underneath the link for you all. Mental health, you're right, it's every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's our life, right?
Yes.
In your life, did you have any sense of where you didn't, I know you said you felt like you didn't measure up, but what other challenges did you have breaking out of this pandemic? Because you have to understand something. Like Jarvis said, you went from Miles College.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want to create a stair step with you. You went to Miles College, then you went back, you joined the Wolfpack, you won a championship there.
Mm-hmm.
You were the second back behind Eddie Bailey. May he rest in peace, right? You get injured. Season's over.
Mm-hmm.
COVID happened. You guys were rocking and socking. And next thing you know, the season's, I think you guys beat the Extreme, right?
Yeah.
And then the season
I
stopped.
wasn't even able to play that game. I was hurt. I wasn't even able to play. I was already injured, but yeah.
So with that being said, do you think that God seen something in you that you didn't see to alter your mind and say, let me not worry about football. Let me focus on my education and the next step of your brand?
Yeah, I think it's all in the divine plan. You know, even Divine Ingredients itself, it was just something I was just saying on post, and then one day I said, okay, let me brand this. You know, even down to the pine cone, and you know, being a representation of the third eye, the spiritual eye. You know, I feel as if it was just I was ordained to do this. You know, and it's just going to be a part of, even all the way to where it's connected with the children and they're doing the modeling and you know the vision I have for them and their future. You know, it's almost like, you know, this is just it's just been wrapped up and like a present from the Most High, honestly, and I just had to execute. You know,
we got about 15, 20 good minutes left. We've talked about a broad range of subjects. We talked about your life. We talked about your business. Let's get into football here. We all share a common interest in football. I was your offensive coordinator. Then Coach Ron ended up stepping down to focus on work, and the Texas Extreme promoted me to the head coach, right? And although it's never been talked about, you know, you and I didn't see eye to eye, player and coach. We had a great relationship, great bond. I look at you as a son now, similar to the same way I look at Jarvis. But I thought you were a selfish player. And I thought you were selfish because I felt that you were putting, even though you had goals, you were putting what God already had in store for you. You put that in front of a team goal, right? Now that's just my opinion, and you have every liberty to defend yourself on that. But definitively, I always told you what's going to happen is going to happen. Although you didn't end up finishing the season out, how did you feel when you and we've always been able to talk openly.
Yeah.
How did you feel when I shared what I shared with you? And then also, too, the second part is, how did you feel when I may have told you some things coaching you that you didn't like, that you didn't really want to hear?
Initially when you first said it, I was able to accept. Because I like I say, I've always had this different form of wisdom that I understood that you were giving me something that I needed to hear. But also I was giving you something that you needed to hear as well. Yeah. You know, 100%. And it wasn't. I learned along the way that it wasn't. You know what they say, everybody does what's best for them. Right. You know, and it wasn't until I shared with you what I was actually going through at that moment in time that it gave you a little more clarity. You know. Yeah. And a little more understanding. I didn't look as if I was just this guy just leaving the team just because I felt that, you know. Right. I was going through some life-changing situations at that moment in time.
Some crossroads,
some relationship, some relationships ended, friends, you know, different things. I was going through a divorce at that time. And, you know, I didn't have the mental capacity to hold on. Something had to go. You know, or I would have been reckless, what you spoke of earlier. You know, we dealt with a little racism that year.
We did.
And if I had to reflect and understood that this is just a time for me to separate myself because you didn't know that version of me that I was trying to get away from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. A lot of fighting, alternative school. You know, I know I don't seem like that guy now. Yeah. You know, but I've grown. You know, and even before you met me, I know you know with the Rangers. You know, I haven't been able to dodge all of those past things this whole time I've been here. So by the time I met you, you had met a better version of me. And I knew if I stuck around, I'll be out there. I was going through so much that I'll be out there fighting and doing different stuff. And that wasn't within my core values of what I wanted to become, you know. So I understood how you felt and I accepted, you know, even to this day, you know, because I know it wasn't a right or wrong way to do anything, you know. You do what's best for you.
For me, it's just when you was talked about being a leader, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That part, I was like, nah, I'm cool, because I'm the quiet. Right. But there's also quiet leaders. There's also the talkative leaders, the goofy leaders. It doesn't matter who you are, you can always be a leader. And I think that for me, that was the biggest thing. And I had to sit back and like think about it. I was like, you know what? This guy, he's asking me to be a leader. So I was like, if that's the challenge he wants me to do, I'll step up to the plate and do that. So.
You ever know, guys, why I've always been very open as a coach, and I never wanted to ever present myself to be a phony person.
Mm-hmm.
And I may not be the most liked coach, and I don't give a damn who likes it, who doesn't like it, right? But I seen in my professional football, everybody was buddies. And Nick Saban said, you know, if you want to be liked, go sell ice cream, right? When you're a coach, you're a leader. You're an example. You're a role model, right? And I said what I said to you guys because something made me care for you beyond football. If it's just about football, it's about wins and losses, I'm gonna tell you, hey, you know, you need a quicker first step, or you need to explode more on your right leg and do whatever. But it wasn't about that. It was about what I seen. And I come with a controversial background. I think that's why I love Lane Kiffin so much. Because I'm gonna say what I feel, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but I also know that the Texas Extreme wouldn't have won that championship without me. Because of the mentality that I had. And even all those talented players that you guys had, and even going to the Vipers, right? That was a situation where we were better off last year than they are this year.
Yeah.
But they didn't capture the vision. Although you left for a reason. But we still continue to talk. And now you're doing leadership things. You're sending messages out. That's what leaders do. And you're right. There are different types of leaders, right? But although we got to that point, not to say that I was always right. My confession to both of you guys is I cared about you beyond football. We prayed together. We talked. I let you in my home, around my family, around my granddaughter, my wife, and we shared food together and we shared times together. And I just felt that in order for you to truly get the maximum out of someone, they gotta know where you live, what you do, how are you as a husband. He's seen me. Sometimes we have disagreements. Sometimes we have little funny moments. But he's seen me at a raw form, and I felt that sometimes in order to be successful as men, you got to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think both of you need to be a little bit more vulnerable in life. And that's just my nugget to you guys, because vulnerability allows change, and it allows so much growth. You guys are CEOs of your company. You guys got to work every day relentlessly. Even when you're asleep, you still need to be working. You know, they say the best ideas come when you're not thinking about what you're thinking about. So me, my phone's right next to me. I think of something. I just text it, put it in notes, and I always go to sleep with my notes open, and I text something. Because that's when your mind is at rest, right? And I think for you, Mari, your willingness to be open about your life, about your divorce, about your children, about your education, about your walk with football. Although you're a Super Bowl champion, and you may not have got on the field as much as you liked, you were on that team because Coach Mark, Coach Donovan seen your value, right? If they would have by inch, I would have took half the guys that I originally had and put them on the Vipers. But it might not have manifested into much because we didn't have the people above us that was going to allow us to do what we needed to do. What is your guys' take on modern professional football now and these players that we have nowadays? What is your take on it?
I think that modern professional football has the potential to grow into at the same level where junior college is, like on the same level as a JUCO or something like that. But we'll have to see more teams like the Extreme, more coaches like yourself, more organizations like the Wolfpack. We'll have to see that more often within the next 5 to 10 years for a guy that, let's say, let's say someone has a trade. We spoke about it last night. Let's say a guy he don't want to do the traditional route. He has a trade. He's a truck driver, but he still loves football.
Mm-hmm.
He still sees himself having the ability to go out there and get some film, gather some film, and put himself in position to go to school, go try for the Arena League, go the USFL, XFL. These different things are popping up. Even the NFL, if you're disciplined enough, I feel that with the players that we have, like that's around in certain areas and certain teams, we got to stop the mediocre, because it's not allowing the future, like the future generation, to be able to have more options, I would say. But if we can have more people like yourself, like the Wolfpack, like an Extreme, come up and keep rising up and building the communities up, along with having good, honest football, accountability, core values, the minor professional league they can turn into some things. I see it turning into something.
Jarvis, what about you?
I think it's we gotta look at being professionals, man. You always say semi-pro is professional, and I think a lot of these guys, will get out of high school and you join the team and you think it's okay to be the guy. Everybody wants to be the guy. Everybody wants to go out there and show what hood they rep and all that stuff. Right. It's not about that. If you're a professional, play for your team. I feel like, and as players, I think, as myself and everybody else, I feel like we just gotta play as a team, man. You gotta play as a team, trust your coaches, and be a professional. Because like at the end of the day, you got kids in the stand, you got your families in the stand. You know what I'm saying? You're playing for your name on your back, your family. So you represent your grandmas, everybody in your generation. You're representing them. So they see you out there fighting, you get in the newspaper, or do something crazy. What example are you leaving for? The next people coming up after you. So if you want people to really take this league serious, you got to be serious.
Yes.
Mari, I got a question for you. And even though I was at the Super Bowl, my wife, my mom, wasn't that a crazy way to end to win a championship?
Oh yeah.
What was your feeling when you guys were losing, and where did you see the momentum shift and change for you guys to ultimately become a Super Bowl champion?
Honestly, it was a split on the field. We had guys giving up.
I seen that.
We had guys giving up, not to drop any names, but we had guys
I know who
giving
you
up.
are, but I ain't gonna say it either.
We had guys giving up, and it was a couple of them. But I feel like in that moment in time, I think a few guys forgot what the season was about. And to echo what you said a minute ago about Coach Rodgers and Donovan wanting to bring me back that year, knowing I'm coming off an injury. I knew I wasn't going to play as much, because I had something in mind for what I need to do for goals. But just to be on the sideline and just to see that split, I think a lot of guys forgot that we were doing it for Eddie. And it had to be a split in that moment in time, because the guys who gave up and the guys who wanted to persevere and continue, I feel like that's how we won the game. It was almost like those last few minutes is we had guys giving up, taking their stuff off, and coach was like, okay, hey, you get in, you get in, you get in. Let's go get the ball back. It was a split. In that, it was crazy, It was, and I feel like that is what actually those people who were left over, the last little troops that were left over to rally the troops, and the coaches, they just believed in those guys, and we just got it done. The onside kick, I mean, it was just like the Stampede just let it happen almost. It almost felt as if it was like this divine. I mean, we're looking at the clock, it said 24. I mean, it was just, because every number was 24. That was a magical time, a magical moment.
Was it 2.4 seconds or 24 seconds?
It was like 20, it was like 24 seconds left once we got done. Like once, what was it, that last touchdown?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't want to say it wrong, man. It was kind of like a blur, honestly. I just saw people giving up, and I saw people saying, what are y'all doing, man? We're doing this for, we got Eddie's mom in the stands. We got a family in the stands. We can't give up. We got to stick this through. And then also, it was kind of like one of those David and Goliath stories, The Stampede got a little full of themselves. They lost that. It was no humble. They had to be humble, And I felt like they got a little too comfortable, and hey,
yeah, that was obvious.
That was obvious.
Yeah. So Jarvis, Mari mentioned a split. When you were with the Vipers and we played the Wolfpack in the second, I think it was division round, no, second round, and we didn't have all our players, but I think we had the right players, right?
Yes, sir.
What was your mindset knowing that you were going into a Goliath type of mentality? Like, they only beat us by 7 points. I mean, if Sunshine doesn't score that touchdown, we're talking 14-14, we're going to overtime, right?
My mentality was, first of all, just looking at the coaches, their mindset. What do they feel? You know what I'm saying? And looking at you, looking at Coach O, looking at all the coaches and Hank, you know, the owner. It's like, what is their mindset? Do they look defeated? Do they look like we're gonna go in there and lose? And you didn't have that look. So I was like, okay, it looks like we're gonna have a good game because the coaches are ready. I'm ready. Everybody else is ready. So it was just the mentality of just locked in, stay focused, and just knowing that we lost them already twice. It was like, third time is not gonna happen. I felt like we had the chance to win that game.
And that was the closest that we ever played you guys. And I heard Cam say at the end of the game, he said, damn, whatever game plan y'all had, he was like, and it was one of those things. It was like, we had you guys right where we needed you, and then it just slipped out of our hand. But you're wearing Divine Ingredients. We got about 10 minutes left. You're wearing Divine Ingredients. You continue to use throughout this podcast, divine. Divine. What's your definition of divine?
From the Most High, I mean, we're talking divine downloads, divine intellect. I mean, it's just, I just feel as if these things come as they should. They just come when your heart is right, when your heart is ready. And sometimes it even comes in the time where it's, the dark times, But I feel like that the divine, what it means to me, it's just the Most High. It's just a connection. And sometimes you feel if you lose it that you lost it, but it's just always there, I feel like that's what divine means to me. It's just a connection to the Most High.
Jarvis, you talk about humbleness all the time. I think you're the definition of humbleness. I think you're the definition of divineness. And you ever seen that movie? Is it Invincible? It's a Disney movie about the guy that walked on to the Philadelphia Eagles and
I think I seen
it.
And he just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. I want to encourage you today, and Lord, I thank you. I want to encourage you today that as a God is speaking, that He's not done with you yet, right? There's opportunities out there for you, and you got to continue to keep going, right? You always talk about humbleness and being humble, right? What does humbleness mean to you, and why do you remain to be the guy in the rear versus the guy in the front?
Because there's a saying, and you be a blessing to others, God's always going to take care of you. So for me, that's why I'm always humble. I'm like, I never take anything for granted. Anything I do, I never take for granted. I'm always humble. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, just because you score a touchdown doesn't mean you won the game. And that's in life. You know what I'm saying? In life, just because you win, don't stay there. Keep going, because that ain't just the end for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying, you have it planned at A, everybody stop at B or C. Yeah. But you gotta go A through Z. Look beyond A, B, C, and look further to A and Z, because if you have a plan past that, you have no limit. You have no stopping stone. You're gonna keep going.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna hit that music at 15. We get to our 15-minute mark, and that's when we're gonna roll up our podcast. But you were one of the first ones when we talked about mental health. You spoke a lot about that, and you seem honestly to be very, very, very in tune to it. What do you have to say to the viewers out there that are struggling for mental health? You work in a mental health facility. You've seen a whole lot of stuff. What do you have to say to our viewers out there about mental health, and how do they change the narrative to be a CEO like yourself?
Well, the first thing I want to say is the thoughts that you hold on to become your physical reality, and I had to kind of grasp that for myself. And first off, you just being able to self-govern, you know what I'm saying? Check yourself at the door, And this is one thing I had I came over with one of the things I was doing some advertisement for Divine Ingredients the other day, and it just hit me, and it said I feel like it was for myself. When I'm always self-governed, I'm always meditating and praying up, you know, and trying to eat life versus death. You know, I've been doing that, you know,
right.
trying to do that more, and exercising and different things like that. But it hit me the other day as I was doing this advertisement, and it was be who you think you are soon. You know,
Wow.
Be who you think you are soon, because it's coming. And it was something so simple. Afraid that was just so simple, a simple sentence, and it just hit me. It's been striking me. It just struck me since I said it.
Wow,
You know, and
you are soon.
be who you think you are soon.
Wow.
Real soon. And so I would just say, everybody, just keep going. Don't let these fear-based products and materials and everything that we seen on this television, you know, because they're telling you a vision, you know, and so just don't buy into that, you know. Continue to self-govern, continue to stay prayed up, and it's coming. Change is coming.
Jarvis, rolling up mental health for you very quickly before we close down. What is some of your final thoughts, you know, with Mari coming on and pretty much how he's impacted our podcast in terms of mental health in his life, being the CEO just like yourself?
I think he had some great points tonight. He said some great things, you know, about generational wealth, his family, his daughters. He's trying to, you know, mold them to be successful as himself. And I think he came with some good ideas and some great points. And I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed him.
Well, I tell you, you're a very serious-minded young man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know you call me OG.
Yeah.
You know, I always wonder why you call me OG.
Well, most people say, you know, original gangster, but that's I like to think that, you know.
I figured that. I thought it was Scarface or something.
No, it's for me is when I call my OGs my elders, they offer me the game. You know what I'm saying? And it just so happened we met through the game.
Yeah.
So you, Coach Donovan, Coach Rogers, I call you all my OGs because you guys have been that mentor for me. Not to knock all the mentors that I had coming up at home.
Yeah.
It's just I needed to grow and meet people as like such as yourself, and so that's what OG means. If you ever knew, you know, you offer you the game on and off the field. Like you always say, it's bigger than football. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'll say that, you know, this podcast today exemplified a great young man that truly and dearly allowed himself to be open. And that saying, be who you, what was it?
Be who you think you are soon.
Be who you think you are soon is very powerful. And, you know, you always learn that whether it's mental health, whether it's walking on to college, whether it's just going through your life, being a father, being a significant other, being a son, that your life is a message to other people. And I think what I want all you viewers to take away from this is the fact that not just Mari, but our co-host Jarvis Elder, these are two guys that have been to the promised land. They've seen the greatness, and then they've also seen setbacks in their life. And I think that when you look at their life and it's turned into a message, I think what we can capture from it is that you guys once were afraid, right? And they always say faith over fear, right? Well, we had some mental breakdowns in our life. We had some setbacks in our life. And both of you all have said, we want to break generational curses. And you guys are well within your way. And I want to tell you thank you, as well as Jarvis. You know, Jarvis and I have been doing this, and we set a vision. He's helping me, you know, each and every day learn a vision. But we want to tell you thank you for coming out to the OC Life podcast, speaking about your life. We are going to do a part 2 and 3 to this because you have a very interesting story, right? On top of that, he did provide us with this Divine Ingredients gear, which what we're going to do is he now is an official sponsor to the OC Life podcast. So now we have our platinum sponsor, BNB-SUITES. We have Unique.shapwear. We have AAUCS cleaning service, right? And now we have Divine Ingredients as another sponsor to the OC Life podcast. If that is not God, I don't know what is. I want to tell you thank you so much. Thank you, Jarvis, our co-host.
Yes, sir.
Mari, thank you very much
Sir.
for coming
Yes, sir.
on.
Thank you, bro.
And
Much love.
thank you to all you viewers out there. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. I know we have a whole lot of work to do, but at the end of the day, we want to ensure that we turn your life into a message. We all want to tell you God bless, keep God first place, and end us out with that quote that you said again.
Be who you think you are soon. And everybody back home in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, you know, that's we're bringing the Black Wall Street back, you know. So everybody who's having their businesses and, you know, just walking out on faith, taking a leap of faith and just betting on yourselves. I'm watching, you know. I've supported a couple guys and back home, and just keep going, you know. Be who you think you are soon, you know. I'm out.
God bless.
God bless.